It turns on.
Oh, it does, I got that X380. I love mine.
With that 4-wheeler, gas, 14 back mode, and half, maybe half the, not even half of the front yard mode, half the top of the gas. This, I put gas in, I mowed whole yard, and still have gas.
Yeah, that's what I do. My yard's not very big, but
I got 2 acres.
I thought I was doing good the other day, my drive belt broke on the board. And when it stopped, I couldn't, I had winch it up on the trailer and here, might as well get it fixed.
I'm not people Jordan to stand up when I start moving stuff in the backyard and the front yard there. Start moving stuff so that way something moving goes out and choose the shot. Every time I move his yard, I need to cross one of them. I know it's one of them, the first one I ran across, but
He told me, you know, probably be next, that's all he had said.
all I know is it's black.
When was it stay?
Yes. Make sure I wash off this. The next release. Cross it. One of the middle ones. First cross this week. And I use it to feel that.
Fast track came out good.
I shot it in all sorts of pieces.
Fast track took a break.
Every so often. I'm gonna play, man. I know where I'm at. Get on the deck and then start coming. This way, John Deere, take it off the gas, go in all this, turn whatever, it don't.
You can get off of it, you can take switch.
Huh?
Kill switch on it, you can get off the seat.
It's just, whenever you take the foot off that gas, you have to blade or whatever, but it just don't stop. It stops the motor dead, but it won't shut anything off. Anytime they John Deere, that fire move. You know, like on that one part, I'm hanging onto the side, and I have to fall off the side.
Yeah, I don't know.
You see me put on the case of right?
Yes, I said that.
Test results are trucking.
Yes, I showed that to me.
And the ribbon cutting for different ones, so they track the fast track.
Oh, yes.
And I put in the headline was on fast track convenience. Just trying to make it. Try to make it, have fun with the headline.
That's why, you know, that one part, that boy, he's going and all this.
Wasn't no way to have
Like
fun
this.
with it.
No, leaning like this.
What I was doing
Like my
right now.
wife stopped at the head
One
Try to stay straight.
my tree used to fall off. Almost, it rolled over one time, and it was like,
Where was it? That's really nice. What is it?
I used to get on that snowboard.
Well, you know, the kids make a statement there.
All right, I think, everybody that's here, let's go ahead and get our meeting started. I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting to order. And maybe stand up for opening prayer. Want to lead us in opening prayer?
Father God, once again, we come thank you for this day. I want to thank you for the many blessings that you have stored for us. And Father, most of all, I want to thank you for being God all by yourself. Father, as we come out this evening to do the business of the city, Father, be with us, Father, in this meeting. Let it be understanding, wisdom, and knowledge that we gather from this meeting. Let us do the business and to be on one accord, Father. We may disagree, but let's not be disagreeable. Father, most of all, I ask a special blessing on this city, this county, and this community, Father. Father, let it be what you want to do. Father, I ask for these prayers in your son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Okay, before we get into any of this business, I do want to respect, Sheriff Black's, time. And so I know that we had you down for new business, but I would like to move you up so that you can speak. And if you want to stay afterwards, you can, but I just want to respect your time because I know that the nature of your work. And I do appreciate you being here. So, I did invite you to get, Tom, if you could come up and maybe, you're another mic. I think I have.
Yeah, but I don't think it works. They can get Barbara.
If not, yeah, if you can hear.
Lakeisha's, yeah.
Yep, Mr. Keisha's. But, the council actually wanted you here, based on what pretty much based on where we're at with our, police department. We haven't been able to do any actually hiring at this point, or had qualified, let me just restate that. We've had 2 applicants to actually apply, and we've gone through the process of, interviewing, background checks, and things of that nature. And out of that, we have one that we can potentially move forward with. I did get a new application last week on an individual that I am moving forward with. We've ordered fingerprints on and got a background check, and we are getting ready to set up for interviews, and we're doing reference checks. So right now, we haven't hired any new police officers, and right now, out of the 3 individuals that has applied and we've done background checks, 2 are potentially that we're able to move forward with. And one of them have actually gone through that complete stage, but neither one of them, when I say complete stage, through the interviewing process, and we're waiting back from psychological, the test from that. And then the other one, we got fingerprints and background pulled, but we have to do reference checks, we have to do an interview, and we have to move forward in that. So it has been a long process of not having a chief to having a chief, and having police officers to having now 1 police officer, and possibly 2 that we could bring on, but both of those individuals would have to go through the academy. Having said that, you was asked, or they asked for you to come and really talk about the conversations that you and I had over pretty much since I've been in office, up until the most recent one, which was doing basketball season a few months ago, just the coverage of our city, and in collaboration with the county. And as I spoke before and in the past, that we, Sheriff Black and myself, had talked about him covering the city, and then covering the city until we can find adequate help. We didn't know then, and still don't know now, how long that will actually be before we can get qualified people and then be fully staffed here in our department. Because up until this date, I have not had anyone else to apply for a chief position either. And so right now we have 1 person in our department, and possibly 2 candidates that we may be able to move forward with. But even that process is going to be out at least another 3 weeks. So if you could just take a stand, and
Okay.
if they have any questions, in the council to ask.
I was asked to come to y'all because somebody had questions. I want to clarify a little bit of what the mayor just said. I did agree back in January of 23 that I'd do everything possible to help cover stamps. I live with stamps. And we have went above and beyond, in my opinion, to cover stamps. My problem with it is I've got so much stuff going on in the county. Looks like we're having more workers moving in. I have 1 deputy that works at night. it is hard to cover this county in stamps with one person, y'all. It's hard. And really, we're not doing a good job of it. I mean, there's no way one person can do it. There's been some statements made, I've heard at the city council meetings and all that, but let's get something straight. Jeff Black don't have to cover stamps. We're doing it because the citizens deserve it. I live here, and we're gonna do everything we can to cover. But I mean, there are some cities in the state that have to go all the way down up to the state police to get on the cover, because the city and counties can't get along. But the mayor mentioned, I talked to her during basketball season. Here's the problem I feel like we're looking at. Everybody's pointing fingers at each other, they're pointing them at the mayor, they're pointing them at city council. It doesn't matter, y'all, if I like Anthony Sterling or Sheila. We got a job to do. We have got a job to do. The problem is, whether you agree if stamps had a chief at some point in time, let's just say we did, no argument. But since about October, I may be wrong, we haven't had one. And the problem I see that y'all are gonna face, even if you hire these one or two that you're talking about, you can't have a police department without a chief. And I didn't know if one of these that are applying are gonna be chief or not. But to me, that's gonna be a priority. You gotta have some administration, somebody to take it and move forward. Because I don't feel like it's being done right now. Y'all got an officer out here that's charging y'all enough to pay 2 full-time officers. And y'all, I can speak, because I did. I'm telling y'all, I've worked so many hours before, and I did not produce when I got up there at 70, 80, 90 hours a week. You can't expect that out of somebody, so it's not all his fault. But we gotta make some changes somehow and quit just talking about it. And, I think our county and cities are gonna grow. And I don't feel like it's been a year and we're into our 4th month, 2nd year. It's hard to hire people. But I've hired about 7 or 8 in the last year. And up until this year, y'all paid more than we did. This last race we got, I believe that we're getting paid a little more than y'all. I'm not exactly to the penny on what y'all are paying. But you have to get aggressive now to hire people. You have to take chances you normally used to wouldn't take. I've already lost a couple that I thought was gonna do good. They got locked up. I mean, so it's hard out here now. But we're not gonna do any good if we keep going at the way we're going right now. I don't feel like, I just been looking in from the outside, y'all. That's all I've been doing. And it appears that we're not moving forward. I mean, we're gonna have to do something to move forward. I don't see how y'all can stay doing what you're doing. I don't know how you're paying the officers you have. I don't see any revenues, which is none of my business. But I'm just saying, looking in, it doesn't look like anything's coming into the city. And this group has got to make a choice and decide what's best for the citizens. So, I've done my little spiel. I'll be glad to answer anything y'all have, or I'll try to. It's hard.
Does anybody have any questions? And I'm speaking, when I say questions, I'm talking about the council.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mom, you have a question? You have a question?
I was just thinking.
The reason I wanted you here, because it was going back and forth, back and forth. One say this, one say that. So I figured if you just get you here,
Right.
you clear a lot of money.
Okay.
And you're exactly right. We can't keep going on like this.
Nope.
And we're just paying one person to do nothing, or very little of nothing. I can't say exactly what's being done, but I can see off this police report, the court docket, what we get what we're not receiving and what we're not getting. This is what I see. It's the only thing I can go by because, or I see something that's not good. I see the county here, when they're here, and I noticed that it's good that we got a state trooper officer, a trooper that's here locally. It's good that we got the county here, but it's not good to see those two vehicles patrolling in our home. That's kind of more where I'm at. I think things need to buckle down, tighten up. I think we need to hire. We do need to fill some positions. Not just in the police department, in all departments. But I know the police department is up right now discussing, because we're lacking everywhere. When I say everywhere, I mean in every department. We're trying to hold on to something. We're looking at a dollar amount, but who's gonna move you? We got a plant that's supposedly coming in down the road. So how are we gonna say we're gonna offer protection? How are we gonna say that we're gonna fix things when we are neglected for the things that we are lost from? How? Because we sit on our thumb doing nothing. We're collecting checks, we're writing and signing checks. That's what we're doing. It's not the employees that's breaking the city. We are. The council and the mayor, we're breaking the city. Because the simple fact we're not putting our foot on the neck of what's the problem is. That's what we're doing. Let's just be real about it. We're bickering, we need to hire in every department. We need to find the money. I keep saying we need to find this money to fix the problem. Instead of giving out bonuses and all these, we gotta quit that. So we can hire somebody, we gotta make money. You need a job. If you don't need a job, go somewhere else. This is what's happening. We're gonna have to man up, do what we need to do. We're at the problem where we're breaking the city wholeheartedly. What that stands with me included, because I sit right here, I'm here in the council. I take full responsibility for myself, but we have done this to the city. We need to hire. There's no need of not having the county just to cover for us for all this period of time. And we need to find somebody, not because we like somebody. Liking the 11 is going to destroy it some kind of way. We need to stop it. So basically, let's not overwork somebody because somebody scratch your back today. You don't want them to scratch it every day. Figure out something.
Mine is that we have been a year and a half with the police department. We've seen what's happened. I was just curious if you have some type of proposal from the county, being that the county is pretty much has been covering us for that long. You know, what options do we have out there? Because we don't have a police chief. I mean,
I feel like the first thing that has to be decided is from y'all, what do you want? Do you want your own police department or not? That's gotta be decided. And then there's options. There's a lot, I've seen a lot of small cities have to quit because they just don't have the revenue. Anthony brought up a real good point, and something that I bet y'all not thinking about, and I'm worried death about it. These plants coming in, guess what? City Stamp's gonna lose every guy down there that's got a CDL or can run a backhoe. The Fayette County have already talked to the judge. I think she'll get hit harder than I will, because they're gonna be grabbing people, construction workers. And from what I hear they're paying, we got some people that will have to go. So I think we've still got a big hurdle ahead of us, county and city. So it's gonna be a struggle for everybody. But, I've got some proposals that y'all could work on. But I think the very first thing is, you gotta decide if you're going forward with yours, or you're gonna go away with it.
Do you know how long we can go without having a chief? You reckon you have-
It's actually been too long. I do know that Standards is getting ready to audit y'all, I know that for a fact. In my last sheriff conference, my man came to me and asked me about what was going on. So y'all are getting ready to go through an audit. But they'll detail that out for you, you know, but either way you look at it, like I said, we'll go whether you agree if you have one or not. If you just start from the time you left, it's set on that line. I'm afraid in the position you're in now, if your officer did something really bad, I don't know how he's gonna be protected. He has no leadership, nobody over him, nothing. It's gonna really put him at risk, but then when you put him at risk, it puts the city at risk. And that concerns me. But, y'all got some tough decisions to make. It'll be hard, you know? But I think the first thing y'all are going to have to decide, what do you want? And then if it comes down to that, I've got 3 or 4 proposals we can make, and it would be up to y'all to pick one.
But we can't just expect the county to cover it. That's not
I will not break my promise. We're gonna keep helping as much as possible, but the other night, a good example is I had a trooper, one of my reserves, and my only deputy on, that was on a drug stop in Brad, tied up. They get a fight out here off of Walker Street, a fight. It was 42 minutes before I could get him loose and get him up there.
Did we not have an officer on duty?
No. So the problem is what will y'all accept as satisfactory? I mean, you can go all the way down to just saying, we're done, it's yours. But are you gonna accept those 30, 40 minute response times every now and then? Sometimes we're gonna be right here.
Right, of course.
But if there's a person down here getting robbed and beat, they're gonna come back pointing fingers at y'all. Why did we not have anybody? That's the downside of not having some kind of an agreement or something in place. We're coming, but it may take a while. My goal is to get 2 deputies on at night, because we're getting requests now from Exxon and some of them to start monitoring their drill sites. Because as y'all know, we're gonna have some thieves. It's coming. They're gonna hit those sites, some of them are. And they're wanting us to patrol those places more often. That's gonna pull them away from the cities. I'd hate to know that Bradley and Louisville were in the shape right now. I don't know what we would do, though, because the county doesn't have the money to hire 3 or 4 more people. If they did, I'd have done that, I promise you. They just don't have the revenue coming in. Right now, Bradley is helping us tremendously. They have come a long ways. If y'all remember back 5, 6, 7 years ago, they were in this shape. Y'all remember? It was bad. It was bad. But no, they turned it around. They're slowly building up. They're not making any money. But this business, we're not in this to make money. We gotta remember that. You can't write yourself out of your budget on tickets. They're just there to supplement. Because even if we collect them, by the time it gets spread out, we're getting very little, the city is, the county is. I think the city actually gets more money per ticket than us. But it seems like everybody's got their fingers in that ticket, want money, so that's not all the answer. We have changed up, we have been serving warrants like you wouldn't believe. And we're collecting the money. We actually served 3 for stamps in this last 2 days. So, yes. So, y'all should be seeing a little bit of income coming in. I sent some guys over a few weeks ago, and just told them write tickets, put them on y'all's docket. and they did. And then about 2 weeks ago, I did set up a saturation. Y'all should see them on your court docket. I haven't seen y'all's docket, I don't know exactly what date they set them for court, but y'all will see quite
That's
a
what we
few.
see. That's what we
You
see.
should see a good docket there.
Is the county.
And just to make you feel better, out of all those tickets, 10% of them were locals. You know, we've done this for years, we don't pick on local people, sometimes they have to have a ticket. I wrote a court member's daughter a ticket the other day. Sometimes you have to write what we consider our people and all that, but most of the money that's coming into like stamps and us is coming in from out of state. Jake, he does a lot of court, a lot of Texas. Oh my gosh, a lot of Texas. So there is some revenue here that it's not being taken care of. So, but it all goes back to what do y'all want? You gotta get past that hump first, in my opinion, before we can move forward with something else.
So, Jeff, you saying that you were looking for putting 2 officers on?
That's my goal, and I'm within about 2 more hires happening. My problem is right now, I just got one out of academy last Thursday, I got another one going May the 5th. Like I said, I've done put 2 through, and they didn't work out, they actually got charged with something. And you're gonna have that, you're not gonna hire the perfect people. It's not, they're not out here anymore like they used to be. Anybody tells you that, I think, I talked to Mary back during the basketball, and you had a couple, but they didn't work out. There's gonna be some that just don't work.
That's anywhere you go.
Anywhere you go, in any line of work right now. And y'all, it's not all about the money. Don't ask me how I'm staying full. It's because we're aggressive, we're going out and hunting for people. I had 2 quit last week, going up north to get married, and then I had one we arrested. I was down 3 people in 24 hours. I filled every one of them spots already. And working in the jail is the lowest pay around here. It's not a great job to some people, but you have to really hustle and try to get people to come in. Right now, I feel like if you're not careful, you're building up a reputation that's gonna keep people from coming here. And that hurts if you ever get to that point. It takes a while to build that back up. They want a place to come that's a good place to work. It just takes time to build that. But if we, looking in from the outside, if we keep going the way we are right now, I don't see it getting any better in the next 6 months. Unless some hires are made, training. And when you do that, y'all gonna lose them for 13 weeks to the academy. Like the mayor said, they're not certified, it's 13 weeks. You gotta pay them through that whole time. It takes time. So, it all boils back down to y'all.
It's almost, the way you cover it's almost the kind of need to assist you with
Honestly, I need y'all's help more than y'all need mine. We're covering a lot of square miles. You know, and the counties, like the cities, they don't have extra money to throw out there. Like I said, well, Bradley's helping us a lot. They may just respond to it, get someone on the same, make sure everybody's safe, and then we're there. But a lot of times we need help from the city more than the city needs help from us. Because I could have a guy down on 160 in Kansas City, they call it Butner. I used to answer many a call to Butner for the county. And it never fails. You put him over in Butner, you'll get a call in Kansas City. Put him down south, you'll get a call up here. I wish we knew when the next call was gonna come in. So, I feel like it's gonna tighten up some more is what I'm thinking.
How many times a year do they have the academy?
They're having 3 a year. Back in the day, there was 4 a year, but there's 3 a year now, 13 weeks. My guy graduated last Thursday. Like I say, the next one won't start till the 5th of May. So they're putting like a month or over in between now. Because they've added academies up in Little Rock, they've got one up in Northwest Arkansas now. This one at Camden's not the only academy anymore, like it used to be.
That's good to have too, in case we miss. You know, there's no way we could send someone, if we don't have anyone
Right.
in May, but
Well,
have it
always
different
keep
way.
this in mind, you've got 9 months. Used to be a year. But you have 9 months now. If you hire me today, I need to be signed up for that academy and completed in 9 months. So they cut us a little bit. So you got a little room there. And when you hire somebody, they have full arrest powers, everything. Why, if they're full-time, part-time does not. Cannot hire a part-time person and pay them full-time money. That's a no-no. If you could do that, we'd all do it. Because we'd have to pay benefits and all that. But yeah, you've got a little cushion there. Let's say the mayor hires someone tomorrow, he wouldn't get in this May academy, I bet it's full. But he'd probably get in the September and still fall in for it.
So what would he, say somebody get hired tomorrow? What would he be able to do?
He is a if you're hiring full-time, he is a full-time officer. As long as he has to complete the academy within 9 months. He has every power that I have. He's not gonna have the experience, but he has full arrest powers. We just gotta get him in that next academy again. Because if they didn't have that rule, everybody would hire him and just not put him through.
Okay.
You know, so.
I just want to know the hiring, could he be able to?
Yes, he sure can. He can't write speeding tickets, because he's gotta get that at the academy. In other words, he would be radar certified. So, they do give you a little ground to play with.
Jeff, you might need a mic because they were saying they couldn't hear.
Oh.
So, yeah.
What do I
You
need
just
to get?
grab bar- Yeah, one of those.
That
ones.
one,
Yeah.
Keisha.
They just couldn't hear.
Okay.
Any other questions? From the council? No?
Well, I just appreciate you doing what you done, as a district, person. Thank you.
Do y'all want me to shoot you a few scenarios that, it's gonna come back to that main question, what do y'all wanna do? Or we can wait until y'all make that decision, somebody, yes or no?
I don't think it would hurt having something to
Okay.
look at.
It'll give you something to think about, whether you wanna go with it or not. You gotta remember first off, if you give it up, you give it up. You know, there's a group of mayor will not have any say-so over law enforcement, hiring, firing, anything like that, so keep that in mind. Don't jump too fast.
Okay, I know, but I'm just saying what our options would be.
Okay. I just wrote a few things down before I come over here. Let's just use the scenario that y'all decide to do away with the police department.
I would like to actually sit down with you to go over some of those things.
Would you rather wait and not
Yeah,
bring
and
it
flush
before the
some of-
council?
yeah.
Okay.
And flush some of those out, and so that you and I can kind of talk through some pieces of it, after I talk with, Little Rock, because I did put in, a call to try to see about kind of where, you know, get some other outside information about where we should be and what are some things we can do. Cause I've been told a couple of different things.
Right.
And really wanna look at worst case scenario if we decide to go without one.
Right.
And then what will be some of those other things as well. But I think we need to kind of sit down and really talk through what some of those things are, and based on our conversation, based on those things, and having those pieces, is really then present something to the council of what that could look like.
I started on one yesterday, just to let y'all know, the COPS grant is available, you are eligible for 2 completely paid police officers for 3 years. Actually, let me rephrase that, 2 years, last year it goes down, the percentage what they pay. But it is open right now, I'm actually applying for one officer.
Yeah, Catherine sent me over there like 2 weeks, I think it was a
Mhm,
couple
so
weeks
it's-
ago, 7.4 million.
There's some options if y'all wanna get on it, and if that's what you decide you wanna do.
I just feel as the council that we need guidance, being that we don't have a police officer and have gone this long.
Our police chief.
Chief,
Okay.
okay, yeah, police chief. You know, that's just kind of what I see. When you don't have guidance, he's just out there.
I really feel like if y'all are gonna keep it, that needs to be number one priority,
Yes, I mean,
if that's what y'all's
Yeah,
decision is.
that's the biggest problem is there's,
But that, and that's been
There's not
tarnished
a-
in so many ways for us, and filling out how do we come back from that? Because it was really, I mean, just the process that we went through, and
Right,
at least at one point, I had 6 or 7 applications that I could really get
Right.
from, and I got that across the boards, and now, it's just sitting dead.
that's the reason I feel like that reputation might already be started.
It ain't.
Y'all, it's free, as these guys know wherever jobs available all across this state, they talk, they get on social media.
Well, it don't start there, it starts, okay,
That's right.
because we wanna say this, as council members, we start spreading it, and this is what kills it. We got some. And then we send out the wrong message. When we send those messages out,
It's free.
it spreads. And somebody, it's not to what we say, it's how people interpret what we say.
It's their perception.
Start with music. It was here when you was here, and one before that, and one before that. But that's the way people spread it. When you need to be being quiet, when you need to speak, you don't speak.
Mayor, the applicant that you got, are they certified by chance?
No, I've not got one certified, no. So, one person does have some background. No, I think one military background I got last week. So that's helpful, but still not certified.
The
And
next,
even, the other person, so, no, not certified.
the next open academy class is September 15th,
It's that too.
Cause I've got one starting May the 5th.
and that one has 0 openings at this
Yeah,
time.
they fill up.
Jeff, did someone do is it a grant that you fill out for that?
Yes, you talking about the COPS grant for employees? Yes.
Did Jay Cleet do your grant?
Do what now?
Did Jay Cleet do your grant, fill out your grant?
No, Cody and I did.
Okay,
I don't know who that is.
he's at Southwest Farm.
No, I don't use that.
But I know I'm meeting with, Bull them in another couple of weeks, so I'll try to see if I can, figure out your schedule and my schedule, so we can try to get that, get a meeting put on within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
And then I should have heard back from somebody at the state as well, with some of those thoughts and ideas.
Y'all have options, but it'll be tough. I wouldn't be this negative.
You know how long is that grant offer? I mean, are we at the end where?
No, it's been open a while, so I think we're in good shape.
And I got the information, I
Yeah.
have it, yeah.
It needs to be, it's a good way for y'all to take care of. I'm just doing one because here's the downside of that. Like I say, it starts out at like 100%, and then it goes down each year. In the last year, I might be wrong, but I'm thinking it's around 50% of the salary in the last year. What it is, they wanna help get you started, but then they want you to maintain it. So, you don't have to, but they want you to. When the grant goes out, they really don't want you to fire them, you know, but sometimes you can't keep them. Louisville right now has a person on the grant. So, a lot of people use it.
And they do have a webinar, they have one that was set for today at 2, And then they also have another one that's set for, I think it's 19th.
But that would be a way for y'all to pick up maybe one or two if that's what you decide. It's not perfect,
Do something.
you know.
I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Alright, thank you. And I did not open up to the floor because really it was the council that had questions. And so I wanted to make sure all their questions got addressed. And I do want to get through this meeting, with the agenda items that we have without being so lengthy. And so I do appreciate your time and I appreciate you, being able to clarify, answer some questions, but also be a part of what the planning could look like for the future and being able to offer, your professional input on that. So thank you so much. Okay, we're gonna.
Call the roll.
Okay. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and do roll call and we're gonna start,
Ms. Hovater,
Here.
Ms. Phillips, Mr. Satterwhite, Mr. Sterling,
Here.
Ms. Dixon,
Here.
Ms. Lowe.
want to go ahead and see if there's any additions or corrections for the minute, for February the 26th. We'll do February 26th first.
I have one, question. The seventh paragraph,
Under which section?
the seventh paragraph. It says, after a question about health and sanitation expenditures and water and sewer, she made a motion to accept the financials.
Okay.
I don't know if that was me or if I.
That was in February, I can go back page. It was you, so we need to insert your name there. Okay,
And on the next to the last page, the last paragraph, when Mr. Drake was speaking, the third one up from the bottom, no, the second line. It says he is now writing tickets, so what is he doing? It's supposed to be his name.
all right, I got those changes.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, anyone want to make a motion to accept the February 26th minutes, with the correction that Councilman Phillips just recommended?
I make a motion, we accept the regular meeting, February 26, 24 minutes.
Second.
So there's a motion and a second, all in favor by roll call.
Ms. Hovater,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Satterwhite,
Yes.
Mr. Sterling,
Yes.
Ms. Dixon.
Yes.
Okay, next we have, want to see if there's any additional corrections for March the 25th meeting.
I do, on, the third page, under B,
Under what now?
the third page under B,
Mm-hmm.
the fourth sentence, fourth line down. It says, after reading, Ms. Phillips made a motion to suspend the rules and place the ordinance on the second reading by title only. There's no second.
Okay.
Who was the second by?
Okay. Let me look here.
Keisha.
So
I'll insert Ms. Lou there.
second on that, on that ordinance?
Uh-huh.
I don't think she did. I think it was she,
Okay, well, let me look and see, ordinance
she voted.
Okay, yeah, cause this one
24,
didn't know.
ordinance 24 dash, maybe I looked at the wrong order. No, it was Barbara, you're right, I was looking at the wrong one. Okay.
And on the last page, number 2, that was, Ms. Hobart, that asked to change the time of the council meeting.
And then when I'm looking at, first, second, the third page on number 4, where it talks about meeting with, Robert Drake. And then it lists out, it kind of laid out some information there. What is missing is what we put as what our next steps are and my course of actions, which I had listed out what all of those things were in our meeting, but none of that stuff was put on there.
Is that in the council meeting?
Uh-huh. In the council meeting, I talked about, what the results of that meeting was.
Oh, okay.
And then in addition to that, I talked about what our next steps were. And then, what actions that I took based on the information that was given. None of that information was there.
Well, it says you reviewed this with the staff member and covered the expectations while he was working.
Yeah, it was a lot more than that information that was there. I list out the steps and I would prefer to have that information put in there. It's not that, it's like a whole piece that's kind of missing. And I could probably go to my own notes and tell you what that was.
You might have to, because
Yeah.
I didn't pick that up.
Should I record it too? Well, if I can, doesn't look like mine. Which one? So then, my meeting, I had listed out some concerns. So you had talked about the concerns, but in my conclusion, I said, due to the tardiness of this matter and lack of cooperation in the source, the date, and the incident, and the time of the incident, I did the following. I talked about review, I said I reviewed the information with staff and covered expectations, but I also informed Mr. Drake that in the future, if such matters arise from him, to provide information in a timely manner, preferably upon discovery, and with more details such as the date of the incident, the time of the incident, the name and contact information of witnesses, and to file a formal written.
I'll add that.
Anybody, anything else? If there's nothing else, then do I have a motion to accept the March 25th meeting minutes with the corrections that Councilman Phillips and then also myself had recommended.
I move that we, accept the minutes of March 25th meeting, with the necessary corrections, changes.
There's a motion motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, all in favor, by roll call.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips? Mr. Satterwhite? Mr. Sterling?
Yes.
Ms. Dixon?
Yes.
All right, thanks. At this time, there's no financials. Okay, let's, want to go ahead and, ask for a motion to pay our regular bills and the extra list that was provided to the council. And that extra list that we have for those items or those checks that are over $1,000 as of right now. And so I think everybody has that list. If you wanna look at that list and then,
And I did provide an updated, batch of bills, there was 2 added to it today. The Procom and under the water department,
oh, I don't have
well, this is yours.
one. Oh, okay.
And then, there's one more under health and sanitation for, it was
Is this
added,
the contract, the program?
No. that was repairs to a meter reader that Jamie had to get done last week. Before you could read the meter, she had to have a new antenna put on the electronic one. And then under health and sanitation, there is one to Agriturf for $4,062.95 for mosquito spraying, chemicals. And that's the only thing that was added that you didn't already have on it.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Okay, there's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, all in favor, by roll call.
Ms. Hoaglatter?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Satterwhite?
Yes.
Mr. Sterling?
Yes.
Ms. Dixon?
Okay, so we'll move on to the next. Let's go ahead and go on to committee reports. We could start with Councilman Dixon.
Okay. Under the tourism and development, now, did you say that we did receive the grant out to the Maya Angelo Memorial Trail Project? We have received that grant?
When you say receipt, we've been approved for the grant,
We've been
but the
approved.
grant doesn't, they don't just send us a check. We have to submit something to them, whatever phase we're in, submit it to them. They
It has
approve it.
been approved.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if the council could have a copy of the layout of those plans for that.
I can work on giving you something.
And I thought that had to be provided for a grant. So I just thought we might have them.
Yeah, I just don't have it with me.
Okay.
And I don't have the modifications that we also did as well. I think I spoke to the council before and said there's different phases we have to go through. And so part of that is having this, there's several pieces to it. So if you wanna be a part of some of those things, I'm more than welcome to share some of those meetings with you. But right now, we don't have a updated draft of what it could look like.
Well, as it comes, I just think as the council, it would be nice.
And before I move forward with anything like I've done in the past with any grants or anything that we do, I always provide you guys an updated report on that. And so I will continue to do that. And so you're asking me that you want a copy of what do you want a copy of? You want a copy of the grant? You want a copy of what was sent in for the grant? What do you need?
I thought it's nothing to hide or anything, it's just.
Does the net have a copy?
No, it doesn't have a copy of it.
I
Because
thought,
we haven't given it money or anything with the grant. We just submitted it and we got approved for it. So no, and that doesn't have a copy of the grant because we haven't done anything other than participate in a webinar that talks about what all the requirements are for the grant. And every inch of the way of the grant, according to this grant, we have to present and it has to get approved and then it has to go. So there's things I have to do on this side and then before I can send it to the grantor. So what do
So
you
you don't have
need?
phase one, I'm just curious,
Okay,
I'm just curious.
curious, what do you?
What it's gonna look like, I mean, what's
Yeah.
coming?
We're gonna create that because we're only getting $160,000 and not 500,000.
Well, I know, I've done grants with, on parts and stuff, and we know what's coming, so.
I can share with you the grant that I submitted.
Okay. That'd be great.
I don't think I have I don't know if I have your email address, maybe I do.
What?
Just text it to
You
me.
can make a copy, I'll take a copy.
Yeah, I'm an electronic person, I can get
I know.
get stuff done more faster electronically. So if you could just send me your email address and then I can send you
Okay.
I can send you that.
All right.
Did you have anything else to
No,
report on your?
I did not.
Okay, we'll move on to, water and sewer, Councilman Satterwhite.
Projects, Thomas Street, Allen Street, Second Street, Cedar Street, and the wastewater plant.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. And I believe, Jamie, did you have anything you wanted to add?
We accepted, we done our sealed bids the other day, and we went with, I think it's Jeff Jones Hydro Services, the lowest bid, is right at less than 75,000. And I think one of the others was 88, and the other was 153, I believe.
Oh, for the lowest bid? Oh,
The
you talking
lowest
about-
one was the 250, I think, not sure.
Yeah.
But it was the cheapest one. And they said as soon as they're given the okay, I think you have to sign off on it.
Mhm.
And, I think they said 10 to 12 weeks on ordering the pumps for them to come in.
So we closed the bid, I think it was last week. We closed the bid, last week, Jamie and I talked, Jamie and I just clicked, or we all had some communication, over the last week about, the dynamics of, picking a vendor. I believe that particular vendor had came out, looked at what we currently have, was able to look at those specs. So I guess they gave us a little bit more personable, touch
They broke
versus
it
the
down
other
to
two
give us,
people.
they broke it down as far as how much our pumps are doing right now to get a pump close enough, to do the same, if not more. Pump curve, head pressure, everything. I mean, they done a lot more than what everybody else actually put in there. Looked really good on paperwork, put it that way.
And everybody was given the same specs, and based on that, they gave us a number. There was one that was significantly higher than the rest.
That was one of them that didn't come. Everybody else actually come and looked at it, and that one didn't.
Yeah.
Who did you say that was?
That got the lowest bid. Jeff Jones Hydro.
I can't remember.
My papers are locked up in the office in there.
We need to check for it.
I think it was
Not
Jeff
yet.
Jones Hydro Services.
Did we get maybe a copy
I
of
can
that?
actually tell you. I think I
I have a copy in the office of the bid, but no,
Okay.
I've not made
Oh,
a check.
okay.
Okay.
But based on our conversations and based on the information that they gave us, it was the lowest bid, but I think they was also pretty personable and trying to build a relationship in providing the services. I guess one of my biggest things was like more or less the warranty and then the aftercare after we actually had made that purchase. I believe we were still, what was it? We were about 13,000?
Yeah, we went by that 88,000. Yeah.
It was roughly about 13,000 under bid, so, we was able to save money, there. So that's probably our second contract that we've been able to really, save money based on what we budgeted. And I know that we talked about, I think at one of the last council meetings, we had did the ordinance for the, committee for the water, that water department, I can't remember the code, but I remember we did a committee. Have we did anything else with that as far as identifying?
I've talked to a few people. I haven't found anybody interested.
So
I
should we
think we might should try to,
place it out there on Facebook and see if anybody will be interested and kind of lay out what the
What it
requirements
is.
will probably be? Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll go that route and then just kind of put it out there and see, who may be interested. I know we talked about how many members and that we would need to have so many from each place, but, see if we can get some folks out there, because we do have to have that. We have to form that committee by law. So maybe,
if we could try to maybe print that out off, and I could have some copies to take with me when I go out and talk to
we would like to print out what, the ordinance or the,
the act,
605 or?
yeah. I think we could actually probably pull it up online and print it out. And then I'd have something to take with me. To show, you know, when I talk to somebody about it.
okay. And now, would you have it?
I'm thinking Jake gave me a copy of that. I don't actually have it with me, but I think I have it in my office. I think you sent that to me, didn't you?
So,
Okay. If I don't have it, I'll get in touch with you and get it, okay?
Yeah, and maybe, just do a draft of something that we could possibly put on out there for the public, and then, just have, maybe do a quick poll or a quick, I could put it into a form where they can just fill it out right there, if they choose to, or we can print one out.
It is Act 605.
All right, Councilman Sherwin.
There's numbers of piles, there's one on Chestnut, it's about 18 years around. Right there, before you get to Taylor Rank, it's one there pretty big.
Yeah, I hit it the other day when it was underwater. That was something I was gonna mention about us trying to purchase some cold mix.
We need a lot of, not just one truck.
This rain is killing the road.
And the drainage is killing the road as well. That's the biggest problem, is what's happening to the road without drainage. Some way or another, we're gonna have to figure out, we're gonna park the lawnmowers. We want to park those lawnmowers unless we cut the park. Cause that cutting a foot off the road, it's not gonna be. We just want to park it.
When you say, explain that a little bit.
When we cutting a foot, as I was coming here this evening, it's only a foot cut outside the road because we got a tractor with a 5-foot backbone on it. I said it last year and I said it again. These places that has grown up, they have these culverts in, they need to be removed. They're stopped up, they need to be removed. No one is living there and that place is grown up, we need to remove those culverts. It rained 3 days last week, 3 days. If you go First Street to Chestnut, I lived in that area. I've never seen that road flooded, but for the last 3 to 4 years, that area is flooded. It is flooding because of the simple fact, yes, trash is there, leaves are there, but there is neglect on the homeowners, and that's it. There's neglect. If you put a tap in or you doing anything else that says that you have 15 feet, you have a right of way. Water meter sits past the ditch on the cell property. Those covers need to be removed, and I'm saying that because you're here.
My only question about the culverts is, if somebody had a culvert put into their property and we remove it, and they want to cover it back, who's responsible for it?
If that cover is causing a nuisance, it is causing a nuisance, it is causing a problem, and no one lives there, and that property is grown up. Cause some of the properties, most of the property, what you see, they're not even using it. What I see.
Oh, I agree.
They're not using it, and it's stopped up to debris, and it's causing the people that are maintaining their property, causing them problems. Because the people we got an ordinance. It says that people need to clean up their property. People have came, they're sick, and well, you clean up a property, but then you cause them a problem. They don't wanna clean it up. I have not seen very few of those properties that the people that complain about or you got a call from, that clean the property, they haven't done anything. So, those covers need to be cleaned, those lawnmowers need to be parked, because like again, we spent $100,000 on track. We're on, they'll cut both sides of the road of that ditch. If it's grown up and it needs to be cut, use it. But that lawnmower is not only gonna cut, it's only cutting a foot. What is it doing?
Well, actually, I told them not to put the lawnmower in the ditch, period.
Yeah, but even when it's dry, I
Right.
mean, they just going down the road with it. A lawnmower is called a lawnmower for a specific reason. It's to cut the lawn. Cut the park. Cut the areas that needs to be cut. I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist. You can put anything out there to know that you don't cut that. But this is what we got. So, I say park the lawnmowers and cut those parks with them. Use the tractor when he's done. Probably going to do, regardless if it slings mud or if it's somebody's yard, we're gonna put the head on there. So clean those dishes out. That way they can see them and find them. And those covers that smash and rotted, let's remove them. We may have to work out something with the homeowners or something. But we might not put a small cover in. We might have to even put a piece of schedule for a pipe in, 6-inch pipe, something. Sewer pipe to make a cover out of it. Sometimes you don't need a cover. That's the problem now. You had a 3-foot ditch, and now, if you dig it out, you got a lake over there in certain spots, and that's what happened. So,
The deal is from years and years and years of neglect. You can't tell which way the ditch goes to work.
that is correct. That is correct. No one has, it's been neglect because, again, it falls back up here that we don't monitor our area. We don't. So by us not monitoring our area, we don't see what's going on, it's like, out of sight, out of mind.
We can go down there and dig ditches on grade. I know how to run a grade machine, but the thing is, you gotta have somewhere for it to go. I mean, if you got a ditch running right through here, and the water runs off of it both ways, which way you supposed to take it?
We gotta make it green, some kind of way.
I agree.
And open some coverage up, cause no way that Chestnut and First Streets should flood. Cause it's sitting on the hill, water's going south.
Yeah, I actually found the problem right there on that one. The culvert is smashed down there, big truck run, made a turn right there.
It's got a sign right there, as soon as you go over the old, KCS railroad track. It's got a sign saying no truck.
I see them every day.
So, we got law enforcement. Fix it. That's what needs to be addressed, it needs to be fixed.
You go on Second Street, you see the culvert smashed in with the trucks that run over, all down Second. And
Write it down, turn it in, let's get it addressed. Cause it's causing people that do care problems. That's all I have.
oh, and also, I've got a list of signs that you asked about.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to order some, a few short templates and some lettering. But I do have a list of signs on the list. And we straightened up a whole bunch of them down there. From, well, actually there and north of town, north side of town.
Okay.
What's that street going from Tourist Park? What's
Chestnut.
Oh, that is, that's the one I almost, yeah, I did hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
It flooded the other day at the creek where it always floods, and then the other end too.
It's gonna flood, but it's flooding when you don't get that much, because of the simple fact, everything is neglected. Well, of course, I mean, you live on a hill, so you're not gonna see it, but if you come this side of town,
The burning the leaves,
burning
hauling the leaves, piling your limbs, trying to burn them in the ditch, it ruins everything.
This was law enforcement, still, this is why we, law enforcement out in the evening, they patrolling, they can see this, they're burning in the ditch or whatever. A lot of things can be,
We pulled 5 trash can full of leaves out of the corner of Ellis and Chestnut, not Ellis. Yeah, Ellis and Chestnut the other day, when it was over the road. Hauled them off, come back the next day and it was slapped on again.
look like we need to run a chain through and pull the try through and try to pull it.
I seen it, I watched it the other day, I've been thinking about if I can find, I got a cable.
Okay,
If we can find a way to get it to the culvert,
Yeah.
I think it'd work awesome.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Public safety, Councilman Hobart.
Yes, I have a list of the, tickets that were turned in from March the 20th through April the 11th. The city had 0 wrote, the county turned in 2, and then the state turned in 16.
You said March, what's your date again?
March the 20th,
Through when?
April the 11th.
And our last city council meeting was what, that was February, okay.
March.
And you did did you talk with, Sergeant Morrison?
I have not, no, I have not.
So you got your report from?
I got my report from what was in my packet.
Okay, so you have it, okay. Can I just make a recommendation that in addition to your package, that you also talk with Officer, Morrison, because one of the things that I do know too is that, like I said, I know that he's wrote some tickets. So just to get a full picture of what has been wrote.
Yes, and it might be something to do with the timeline that, when you wrote them.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, our next one is, Councilman Phillips.
I would like to thank the Lafayette County Press for not charging the city for the publication of the financial report. I think this usually costs us around $400 maybe, something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you for printing that and not charging the city.
I'm sorry, I missed it, I was doing multitasking, what was that?
I thank the Lafayette County Press for not charging the city for the, publishing of the financial report. They charge the city, and the usual cost is around $400.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to thank them for that.
Thank you. Do you have anything else you need to?
No.
Okay. And Ms. Lowe is not here, but you have.
I have the report, yes. There were 2 fire drills. There were fires at Lafayette, 1035 in Louisville, Battle Street in Louisville, Cunningham Street in Louisville, Highway 29 North in Louisville, East Street and Ash Street in Buckner, Walker Street, Opera Street, South Pecan, Oak Grove Road twice, Walker Street and Berry Street, and Lafayette 43. There were 2 vehicle accidents on Oak Street and Highway 82. There were 4 medical assist, Conlin Street twice, Lafayette 301, and Opera Street.
Thank you. We're gonna go ahead and go to old business.
They were, if I remember this, I think they were going to the county office, either the date of the last meeting or the day after. I can't remember which day it was. but they haven't updated me on what they did or if they came, cause I know they're at the state office, so.
Did you email them for updates, or you're waiting for them to?
I haven't, I can email them for.
Yeah,
updates,
cause
If
they'll,
any, if they have one.
okay, if you can do that, I appreciate it.
Do it right now.
Just an update on the ARPA funds. We already got the update from the, as far as the one that we did for the pump, we gave that update just not too long ago. We also started with the technology, so we've started, the layout for the website, and put something and submitted some information for blueprints of our building to look at the security system and where cameras, will be placed. So I've sent, the blueprint. When I say blueprint, it's just like the layout of this building and, suggestions of where I thought the cameras should be based on the conversation that where the current cameras are at, and then what the other areas that we would like to add to it. And then as far as the website, I've kind of put out, some things, how I would like to, some information that I would like to have put on the website and what that looks like. So we're just kind of gathering some things, and he's putting some things together based off of what I've asked for. That would be, so we will need pictures for all council members. If not, we'll pull one from Facebook, but, but we wanted to put, so people can see which council member is where and what area. And then, we're looking at like the emails and all of those things. So if people wanted to email you, they'll email the city, maybe what questions or concerns they have, or know who's in their ward. But like again, I did just kind of put together a nice little blueprint based off of, if you looked at, I think it's called Jonesburg's up, is that up north? Up north. So very similar to their website page. Pull some things for that. Also look at some stuff with the city of Nashville and pull some things for that. So all of, to be able just to share information to the public. Also trying to archive some of our, like our minute meetings and agendas and things like that. So if people have questions or would like to go back, they don't necessarily have to contact us. They can actually pull those things up. There is a fire, I got something on my phone where, yeah. But that's just an update there. We're just, like I said, we're just doing the preliminary work and looking at a layout. Once he has a prototype of what that, what our website would look like, I will share that with you guys. But if I could have everybody just to send me your email address so I can put us in a group message in an email, that would be good. Because right now, all I have is a text message. So that's an update where we're at with ARPA. Ordinance. So establish of a number, okay, we already covered that. We're gonna put an ad in the paper for that one. So the establishment of so the next thing I have here is, let's have the lowering of the mayor's spending authority to $1,000. So let's go ahead and, I think we have another ordinance in place or an update or there's some changes.
Yeah, the amended ordinance.
Yeah. What number? It would be 2024-3. Or go ahead and you can read it, and I don't know if there was something that was changed or modified or something.
Yeah, this, just briefly, this is an amended, an ordinance that amends, I guess that's ordinance 24-2. It eliminates the, confusion of the, kind of both $1,000 spending or contracts, and it lists utilities, salaries, insurance, maintenance, water and sewer, what have you. And then there is an emergency clause on this one.
So this looks a little different from the one from last week, section 3 was not there,
Correct.
and
Section 2, there was an extra sentence in section 2 that talked about emergency spending that has been stricken. And then section 3, of course, it adds the following purchases, expenditures, and contracts that the mayor can enter into without city council vote. And then section 4 is the emergency clause.
yeah, this wasn't in my packet.
Make a motion to.
No, he brought them tonight. We didn't have them that time.
We need to make a motion to read.
Yeah, I think this has to be read.
Yeah,
Multiple times.
read it once, and then the other 2 times, by title only. And then, of course, we have to pass the emergency clause, separate apart from, the ordinance, so.
Is there a motion to go ahead and read 2024-3?
Make a motion that we read ordinance number 2024-3.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor by roll call.
Ms. Homewater,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Satterwhite,
Yes.
Mr. Sterling, Ms. Dixon.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2024-3, an amended ordinance regulating the procedure for all purchases made by and contracts for work or labor entered into by the mayor, declaring an emergency and for other purposes, whereas the city council has determined that it is in the best interest of the city and its inhabitants that a procedure be put into place regulating the procedure for which the mayor may make purchases and enter into contracts for the benefit of the city under Arkansas Code annotated 1458-303. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of Stamps, Arkansas, Section 1. The mayor has exclusive power and responsibility to make purchases of any and all purchases of supplies, apparatus, equipment, materials, and other things requisite for public purposes in and for the city, and to make all necessary contracts for work or labor to be done, or material or other necessary things to be furnished for the benefit of the city, or in carrying out any work or undertaking of a public nature in the city. Section 2, that no purchase, expenditure, or contract in excess of $1,000 shall be made or entered into by the mayor without prior city council vote and approval. Section 3, that the following purchases, expenditures, and contracts may be made or entered into by the mayor without city council vote. Utilities, electricity, gas, water disposal, internet, etc., salaries, including overtime and other premium compensation, insurance, regular monthly maintenance of city property, including but not limited to materials and supplies needed for repair or maintenance, regular monthly maintenance required by the water and sewer departments, including but not limited to materials and supplies needed for repair or maintenance, rent, leases, dues, and memberships, bond principal, bond interest, note principal, note interest, lease purchase principal, lease purchase interest. Section 4, this action being necessary for the preservation of the public peace, health, and safety, including without limitation the immediate need to replace, and a separate and distinct vote having been taken on this emergency clause, an emergency is therefore declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval.
What did you strike?
The parentheses in section 4 should not be in there. That talks about a fleet. It's an emergency clause from maybe buying a police car or something like that. So I'd ask that the second reading be by title only as amended, And when we pass it as amended, just to cut out some more confusion.
Motion we do 2024-3 by title only.
There's been a motion, is there a second?
Second.
I believe he had a question.
So we're allowing, so basically what are we doing with this, allowing the mayor to pay all of these things, except the things that are open, correct?
Yes. Over $1,000.
Over $1,000. These are the descriptions of the things that only can be paid.
Over $1,000,
Over
correct.
$1,000. That's my question. That was just my question.
I believe we have a motion and a second.
There's a motion, is second? Gotta do a third reading, right?
Title only, second time.
You
As
need a
amended.
vote. You need a vote.
You gotta vote.
You gotta vote.
Right.
Okay, all in favor? And there's already a motion and a second?
Ms. Hoagwater,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Satterwhite, Mr. Sterling, Ms. Dixon.
Yes.
Mr. Sterling, did you vote? No? Okay.
Ordinance number 2024-3, an amended ordinance regulating the procedure for all purchases made by and contracts for work or labor entered into by the mayor, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
All right, got a motion.
Correct.
All right, we're gonna vote number by motion, read by title only.
Make a motion to read ordinance number 2024-3 by title only.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Is there a second? All in favor? Oh, all in favor, roll call?
Ms. Hoagwater,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Satterwhite,
Yes.
Mr. Sterling,
No.
Ms. Dixon.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2024-3, an amended ordinance regulating the procedure for all purchases made by and contracts for work or labor entered into by the mayor, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Okay, that was the third reading, correct?
Correct.
Third reading.
Motion to pass.
Then we gotta do a motion to pass. I got a quick question. So that means that every time that there's something that's over $1,000, then we have to have a council meeting? Or we have to have, do a special meeting?
That's good.
Help me out.
It's paying the bills.
It says
No,
right here.
I get paying the bills, but I'm saying that if we have anything, so what does this impact, this $1,000? So
Everything except.
everything except
listed
paying
in
bills.
Section 3.
Everything is listed inside the section, right?
Or in section 1, it says, carrying out any work or undertaking of the public nature of the city.
So if something come up again, you can't, you're gonna have to have a reading.
Well, and so the last ordinance, the original ordinance spoke about, putting a limit on emergency spending. That is nowhere to be found in here, just to be clear. So I think that's what your question went to, is if the roof caves in and it's raining, or it storms or whatever, the mayor would, and that cost of repair is over $1,000, it would have to be, approved by the city council.
A special meeting. We would have to have a special meeting. And then, my understanding, if every special meeting that we have, does the council get paid for those meetings?
Yes.
And how much are those? $25 per person? And so, if that's the case with this new ordinance, does council still get paid, or can we vote to have that the council not get paid if we have to have any of those meetings? of this ordinance that I was said that was put in place was to help save money, right? But if we have to have a extra meeting every time,
We shouldn't be having to have an extra.
oh, we shouldn't, but, I mean, we shouldn't have to have an ordinance either, but we have one. And so with us having one, the other piece of that some of those other things that come in line with it is that every time we have a council meeting,
Other cities have the same ordinance. This is not.
I'm not talking about the cities, I'm just talking about us right now. And right now, what I'm talking about also is that the whole purpose that I was told that the reason why we was having it was to save money. But what it looks like is that if there is an expense that requires an emergency, that requires all these things, then we have to all come back together, or at least 4 people from this council has to come together to create a quorum. And that each time we do that, that's additional monies that go to the council members for us because of this ordinance. Yes.
Is that, $25, is that by statute?
No.
Not statute, ordinance?
I'll have to look that up, I don't know.
I figured it would be an old one if it was.
Yeah, I would just like, if we're gonna put that in place, for that to be forfeited, based on with this one.
I think if it's passed by, if that's an ordinance, which I would assume it would be.
I think it is, but I'll have to find it.
The city, council would have to amend that ordinance or accept, future, special meetings from that. Accept that $25 fee from those future, from all future special meetings.
Gotcha.
But now, I'm asking this for my benefit. Some of the things that the mayor was hesitant to sign checks for was like
That
transferring.
was over $1,000.
Yeah, transferring money from one account to another, paying, the city's insurance, the city's sales tax, all those things are included in, she has the authority to pay those, right?
Correct. That's,
Okay.
But that wasn't in the
Section-
initial
Wasn't in the
one,
initial,
and the
right.
one that we talked about in March.
that's correct.
I mean, yeah, in our last meeting in February and March, yeah. That was not this piece, like I said, I just got this just now.
We did
This
too.
wasn't, yeah, that wasn't in any of that from what we previously discussed.
Cause
And I wasn't gonna sign anything that was going to be,
I had to get an extension for the city's insurance,
which cost us money.
cost us money, paying retirement, transferring money from, that comes in for sales tax to the sales tax accounts, those kind of things, but all that's under the mayor's ability to sign.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, and the-
Natural, normal operation of the
Correct.
city.
Correct, and the section 3, I mean, it doesn't matter, I know some of these are, it's $50,000. If it's under section 3, that's not restricted at all.
A lot of these, bills that you made us a copy of, Annette, we were even over the 2,000.
Yeah.
So, we've been paying these all along.
I guess it just never came up, I don't
The
know.
part that I don't get,
Well, the 2,000, yeah,
the part that I don't get, you got somebody in office that's supposed to do the job. So if one is getting it, then the other one is getting it. So, one are authorized, but can't no checks be written unless we write them, am I correct, Annette?
Unless I write them,
Yeah.
that's right. And then the mayor co-signs on every check.
So, if one get, if you feel like one get, then that means two get. I'm just, basically that's where I'm going, and I know what we're trying to, I see what's going on, but I don't see what's going on. But if you put a person in a position to do the banking, to take care of business. I have a wife, some of you all have a husband, some of you pay the bills, some of you don't. Sometimes you just gotta make somebody responsible. And if you don't trust the person that you put in place to do this, you need to do something different. That's all what you gotta do. But this going back and forth, I'm scared because I may go here, I may go there. we're looking at somebody's personal lives, what they may be doing in their personal life, ain't got nothing to do with something that that money is being accounted for. If it's accounted for, then there's no mishandling. Yeah, we'll be in there. Here we go, let's move forward.
So I guess
we need a motion to adopt this ordinance.
So, are we ready to move forward with this adoption of this 2024-3? If you are, go ahead and make a motion.
Make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 2024-3.
Second.
There's a motion second, all in favor by roll call.
Ms. Homewater?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Satterwhite? Mr. Sterling?
No.
Ms. Dixon?
Yes.
Then we need a, motion to adopt the emergency clause.
I make a motion that we accept the emergency clause on ordinance number 2024-3.
Is that the fourth, number 4 down here? Okay,
Second.
I have to look for it first.
She
There's a
has-
motion, there's a second.
Okay. Ms. Homewater?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Satterwhite?
Yeah.
Mr. Sterling? And Ms. Dixon?
Yes.
I believe in the last, meeting also, I had created a letter in direct response to the initial, I don't know what you call it. To the initial reading or the approach of this particular one, so I do wanna read my letter, and make sure that that is documented, and that is also, put with this as well. So the letter says, dear stamped city council members, the purpose of this letter is to document my decision to veto the proposed resolution ordinance whereby in the February 2024 meeting, a motion reducing my spending authority to $1,000 was brought to the floor and through majority vote was affirmed. After careful consideration of the impact of this resolution and in consultation with the Arkansas Municipal League staff, I determined implementing such a restrictive spending authority would be detrimental to the mayor's office. It would severely hamper the office's ability to effectively address the daily and emergency needs of our residents. And again, this is based on the first one that you've done. But I do want this to go in record for that, and I don't know how you would actually do all that. So anyways, I'm gonna continue. It would severely hamper the office's ability to effectively address the daily and emergency needs of the residents, employees, and city services. While understanding the importance of fiscal responsibility, I believe that this measure goes too far and would unnecessarily handicap our ability to govern effectively. It is critical for the mayors to have the ability to make timely decisions and allocate resources where they are most needed. A $1,000 spending limit would severely restrict this ability and could hinder our ability to provide essential services, maintain infrastructure, and support community initiatives. Furthermore, I am concerned that the spending limit was proposed without sufficient reason, public discussion, or consideration of its potential impact. I believe the actions is a result of a personal retaliation and collusion of council members. And I name Jo Guinn Phillips, Barbara Holthofer, and Sheila Dixon. These council members are singly reacting to my January decision to pay for emergency roof damages to our police department and city library. As elected officials, it is our duty to carefully weigh the consequences of our actions and to ensure that they are in the best interest of our constituents. Over the last 3 months, the budget and financial standings of the city has been thoroughly reviewed by the mayor, the treasurer recorder, and the city council in multiple meetings. This review revealed that the city has operated in a deficient budget, meaning in the red, for the last 5 years, as it over-projected revenues, failing to reduce city spending, failing to identify revenue sources, and paying for unnecessary expenses such as the continuing to pay for a former employee's cell phone after they left employment more than 2 years ago. It is clearly not the action of my authority that has jeopardized the financial stability of the city, but instead the unwillingness of certain city council members to break from practices that have kept the city operating in an era of the 1980s. I realize my style of governance, my education as a master, with having a master's degree in public administration with a minor in state and local government, experience and modern thought may represent a change from the prior political colleagues and things that have happened before. Regardless, I believe the council and I can arrive at a more thoughtful, balanced approach to fiscal management. Reducing my spending authority does not address the budgetary concerns that council puts forth as a reason for the motion. Despite internal opposition, I repeatedly said and put on display my commitment to working collaboratively with the city council. I have been the most vocal about looking for ways to reduce city expenses. I have advocated for exploring other vendors, obtaining multiple quotes for various vendors, comparing telecommunication providers, and reducing discretionary spending until we have a better handle of the city finances. These requests have been met with opposition, ignored, or lack follow-up. The council has the ability and hopefully the willingness to strive towards a more efficient, effective, and improvement-oriented way to govern the city. To do so, they should look to implement processes that practice responsible stewardship of taxpayers' dollars that do not unduly limit the city's ability to govern. I urge you to consider your support of this $1,000, which is passed, spending limits, and to join me in seeking a more pragmatic and equitable approach to budgetary matters. Together, we can make a meaningful progress. I ask that the council collaborate with me and our residents to put forth creative ways to balance the city budget and to govern, govern the city. And I just said thank you. And I said, I believe everybody had this in their packet since our last meeting, which was in March. But I wanted to make sure that the public actually heard it, saw it, and that it goes in the docket as well. Having said that, let's go ahead and move to new business, which is the last thing that we have, is to review a legislative audit for the year 2020, 2021, and 2022. Sure.
You have in this letter that we have been operating in a deficit budget. We have reserve funds that we use, that we're not in the red in our funds. We have reserve funds.
And those reserve funds is only used when you're not making budget. So that means you're operating in the red. If I have a savings account over here, and I got that money, 10,000, 20,000, whatever it is, in a savings account, but my monthly income is $10,000, but my monthly expenses is $12,000, I'm operating in the red, meaning I'm $2,000 negative. So if I have to go over to my reserve fund, which is my checking account, and pull that $2,000, I'm overspending more money than I'm making. And that's what the city has been doing.
Did you have any comment on that?
I mean, our accounts are not in the red, is what you're saying, our balances,
Right.
because we do have reserve funds.
Yeah.
Understand what she's saying, that if we're over budgeting what we're bringing in, our budget looks like it's in the red, but when we bring in our reserve funds, they're not.
Well, when you have carryover
Right,
every year,
right.
That's for the,
And that's
Carryover
always written
funds
on the
from-
budget, that we
That's-
use reserve carryover funds. And
absolutely.
legislative audit says that is approved
I'm not
for a
saying that
city
it's,
budget.
and I'm not saying it's wrong, what I'm saying is our reality, that we've been using reserve funds, and I'm just breaking it down in a sense for people who are at home,
I
understand what that looks like. You're using reserve funds, you're pulling those funds to pay. And if you look at a household, and when you're in a household, if you constantly keep going into your savings account, and you're not putting any other money in there, and you're still not making ends meet every month, you're gonna continue it to be negative. And what Sheriff Black said, what we've said in our budget meeting, is that we have been operating for the last, I don't know however many years, but at least 20 or more, operating as if we're in 1980, where we had over 2,000 residents in this area, where we had a flourishing downtown. We've been operating the same way for the last 20 plus years and not doing anything different, when our community, our population has decreased, our business revenues have decreased, and we've still kept our expenditures at a high rate and not bringing in additional revenue. And so, like Sheriff Black said, like what people have said on this council, is we have to come up with ideas and how to figure out how to be creative about how to bring in additional revenues into our city outside of the things that we've done in the past, and definitely what we're not doing currently. But thanks for your comment.
And also the former employee that we were paying a cell phone bill for, he, still performed a service for the city, and he still does now.
And he's on contract, which that's different than an employee. But prior to me coming on, that person was already gone for about a year and still had that phone. And so when I came in, some of the conversations that I've had is, how many phones do we have? How many are we actually using? And how many we can actually get rid of? Because I thought that bill was too high.
I did turn that phone off last week. He said he didn't need it, he can use his regular phone, and it's been turned off. I also turned off our fax machine.
Cause our fax
It
machine,
was about
we look at our
$500 a
bill,
month.
yeah, and we don't even use fax machine. I
Maybe
mean,
use it once a week, if that helps. So most people want emails, so we did discontinue our fax machine.
So we reached out to the people that we do business with. That's what I'm saying, we're doing analog things in a digital world. And so we have to make that transition, which is going to be a big change for people, but eventually it will save us money.
Right.
And so those are the things that we should be focusing on, and seeing how we're doing business and what are some of the things that are, I call antique or ancient, and then moving it more towards something that's more current and recent. Nobody really has fax machines, but we've been paying $500 or $400 and something for it this whole time. Like, let's look at those ways of how we can reduce spending, and then look at other ways how we can create revenue in a way that's healthy and get our population back up and moving, and where people want to be here.
I know there's probably more phones that can be turned off, I'm not sure,
I think the people that have them now,
or the ones in City Hall, you know, do we need to?
yeah, we talked about those and trying to reduce the, having one line and maybe having extensions for the other, because right now, we have quite a few, everybody has an individual line. So, Annette and I talked about that in our meeting, and our last meeting, and so we meet weekly now, as a way of doing it, and so those are some of the things that we'll be addressing on the financial side, and looking at ways of how, you know, there's a lot of processes and procedures that we probably don't even have in place, but we need to start looking at what some of those things are, and I think we can get flush some of those things out on a regular meeting date. report back from. And it was 2022. It was, 2020, 2021, and 2022.
The legislative audit had gotten behind because from COVID, and they had not caught it up. So they caught up this year, and they did the audit for years 20, 21, and 22. And, said we evaluated the city's compliance with certain state laws concerning general and district court accounting, budgeting, purchasing, and investing and depositing of public funds. Non-compliance with the state law and accepted accounting practices was noted in the office of the mayor. And remember, this was before this mayor's term. And it says, as of December 31st, 22, the general fund owes the Red River Aluminum Settlement Fund $141,352 for interest earned on proceeds received in 2006 from a settlement lawsuit. This is being repaid at $100 a month. A similar finding was issued in the previous 8 reports dating back to 2011. And it will be continued to be repeated. Our auditor did recommend they not write us up on it again since it's an ongoing thing, but they chose to. And that's the only finding the city had that was not, we were not in compliance.
And she just said that that's gonna be ongoing. So
Yeah.
that it'll be there until, you don't have to take it off.
Forever, huh?
I just wanna thank Annette for the good job that she does on, to help us get this good audit.
Thank you. It is a group effort, I've always said that, it takes everybody, the mayor, the council, the supervisors, providing me with the information I need to get it done.
I do know that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for your service. You've been here for how long?
20 years in this job.
So thank you for your 20 years.
Thank you, sir.
In that position, in this place.
I love it. Most things.
That's all that, we have. I don't know if anybody wants to add anything or.
I do wanna add something, I know last month we talked about the city complex building, and it was stated that the ladies here were cleaning, and, I think they've only been cleaning like the restrooms maybe. I know there's several bad places in here from when they voted, and I think this room mainly needs to be cleaned. It hasn't been cleaned since September, I think.
We normally have, and I heard what you're saying, and so what do you propose?
That you find someone to clean the building. I mean, it doesn't have to be cleaned every week, I don't think, but every couple of weeks anyway. I mean, with court coming in and the front, when it rained, all the people tracking in.
I know there's a guy that used to clean for the funeral home, and he cleans for, like all bank, Mr. James Lodge, from Magnolia, that comes up here every week. So that would be someone to recommend. I mean, cause I know you need recommendations.
Yeah, that's something, it does sound like a great idea. Right now, I know that we have meetings in here on some Saturdays, and so, did you stand and just wave your hand? This has been the person that's been cleaning on those days. He has, to do, community service hours, so he's actually been the person that, I got a couple other girls, that they come in and they'll come in and sweep and clean up, a couple times, so, and this is where we have our meeting at, so we usually, will clean, and thank you so much, Jeremiah. But we usually have them to come in, and so right now, I do hear what you're saying. I would like to utilize our youth more, and I've been having them to do it as part of their community service. Now, if you want to pay them, I don't think they would have a problem with it, but definitely, right now, what I've been doing is utilizing our youth. And we're in this building at least once or twice a month, having at least a 2-hour meeting. And so I've been really utilizing our youth and helping us do that. And just thinking of other ways to save money. So I'm glad you came. So it was perfect time. I couldn't have calculated that any better. So, but if you want to see Mr. Strickland, he's the one that really heads up. Mr. Johnny is our career coach, so he really kind of helps oversees them when they're, we're all here, but we help them kind of make sure they get the corners and things of that nature. But right now, I would like to continue to use our youth every couple of weeks and have him come in here. If you need him more, he will be sitting in some of our meetings and that because he's interested in finance. So you'll be able to reach out to him and call him because he gets community service hours with it right now.
I just think it needs a good, it's lost its shine in here, with court and everything that's going on.
Driver's license testing, handing out the senior citizens boxes.
Yeah.
Got a lot of traffic through here. We are cleaning our own offices and the bathrooms.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we haven't did any mopping. We did some sweeping, but we haven't did any mopping in these last few months. But we could easily incorporate some of those things.
Even if they need to come a different time than when you're meeting.
Well, he usually stays after.
Oh, okay.
And then when him and a couple other girls, they usually stay after.
Okay.
So our meeting is just about 2 hours. So our next meeting is April 20th, which is the same day that we're having the event downtown. So our next meeting is the 20th at 10 o'clock. Is when we're meeting here. So they'll be done roughly about 12. And then we just usually kind of stay around, pick up. But from 12 to 6 o'clock is when we're having the food truck down at the Triangle with Miss Gilbert that's heading that up. And I think she has probably about 7 to 10 vendors that are already planning to be here. So, yeah. So we'll be in here this weekend.
Okay. That sounds good. Maybe, get some shine back on the floor. In 6 months, it's.
I don't wanna prolong anything, but I will say this, that's great what they're doing. Sometimes you do need somebody to come in and do a little bit more. Those children are maybe doing a fine job. Sometimes you need somebody, I think we do need to solicit some ads and maybe take some bids on somebody that wanna come in and clean this building. And they can clean it in the meantime, in between time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that you might need to look at that, because there's things that we need to do. Like I said, it needs to be clean. It really needs to be clean, it needs to show what somebody coming in there. And
Like the build up around the
yes,
baseball.
And I agree, a couple times a month is probably enough.
I mean,
you just need somebody to clean in, if they wanna
Yeah.
clean in between,
they have to have professional
but we really need somebody.
cleaner.
I'm gonna mop my floor pretty regular. I'm not gonna wait 3 or 4 months to mop my floor, so. So basically, then you need to bring somebody in, and they can clean in between, that way it won't be so much on the person's hand. That's just my suggestion.
So I just suggest that, also that, I'll get rid of that, we'll talk about what the budget was before. And then we'll also, in our meeting on Thursday, we'll talk about what that budget was before. And then we'll probably at least have some conversations about the scope of the work and how often. And then we'll share that. But meantime, we'll use them, and then I would say over the course of the next month or two, we'll create, the scope of the work, create a budget for what we said we would do, and then we'll throw a bid out there. So people can actually see. So I appreciate you.
I've got one more thing I'd like to ask. You talked also the senior citizens building, have you heard anything about the senior citizens building?
Oh, I did. I think we talked about that in our last meeting, right? It's totally slipped. Our senior citizen building, we did not get the funding for the community block grant. However, the window for it to turn over, they have another opening, so, Blake did send me out an email saying that he wanted to, reapply for it again. I had asked him before he reapplied, to see, let me just pull this up. I asked him that before he reapplied, could we get some feedback from the community block grant? And he said he hadn't gotten any feedback from them, but he says, I'm gonna just read what the email says. We were not successful with our grant application for the renovation of the Stamp Senior Citizen Building. Since the award took a long time to be decided, our turnaround time to reapply is short. And so he said May the 17th is when we can go back and reapply. He's just needed to either confirm the cost estimate that we gave from the previous vendor. We had got a vendor, I think out of El Dorado or something. He had came in and looked at all of that and then came up with the $500. So what Blake wanted to do was to confirm that a dollar amount did not go up. And so he did send that out to that company. And so right now, that's all board protocol. So right now, I'm just waiting on a response back from him. I literally got this 2:29 p.m. Where he has sent out to Michael and asked Michael to confirm that, and he hasn't yet. So if he confirms and says, yeah, we can still do it for that $500 budget, then I'm gonna get with Blake and I wanna look at it a little closer, because that turnover time was really quick, to see what we could do to maybe change it up some, because it's something in there that is the reason why we didn't get it. And I just don't know what that something is if they didn't give us feedback. And I wasn't a part of that grant writing piece. I just kind of turned it over to him and did the other pieces. So we are going to reapply. I just would like, when I get with him and when we get back with Mike, I'll find out if that number is still the same and if we could do it, because then that means we don't have to go back and find another person to come in and give us an estimate for free of doing that. So, but I did hear back. So thanks for asking, because Annette and I talked about it. We supposed to put in a thing, but we didn't. So, but yeah, so we are reapplying, and that date is May the 17th.
Okay. And that's you have to apply by that day?
Yes.
Okay.
And we got everything already in place, but I just want to revamp whatever the narrative that we put in there, and we'll get that a little closer. And unfortunately, I'm doing it without feedback from the grantor, which is not the best thing. Because usually they'll tell you what's wrong or what's missing, and then you can go back and address it. And then you should do well on the rubric, but I don't know, we'll see. Any other questions? Okay, I do have to open it up to the floor, but I'm just saying 2 minutes. Anybody in the audience have any questions or anything that they want to address to the council, because they have been waiting patiently. Yes, sir. Just state your name and then whatever question you have.
Thomas Pensky, you brought up various things about your finances, expenditures, things of that nature. One thing that I was asking, I intend to ask,
are you able to hear, or do we need a mic? No, I'm thinking about online. Could you grab that mic, because I want to make sure we haven't been having issues. They are working. It's just out there.
At this time, I'm just requesting a copy of your budget, the city's budget, to review, essentially. You were saying that you need to look over things that you could potentially, essentially, excise to try and remove expenditures that are in excess. Maybe a fresh set of eyes may be something that you need to have somebody else look at.
Okay. Yeah, and
Stop in my office anytime and I'll give you a copy.
it's a foyer, so you'll fill out a form, because we do have a new form. So you'll fill out that form, make that, request, and then Mr. Net can help you with all of that.
And you did say that you had, what, 16 different telephone lines in here?
We got quite a few.
I don't remember.
I mean, but it's quite a few.
Okay, because that may be something that I may be able to help you address with you on that.
Right.
Because if you have to pay for each individual line, that may be something that can be easily fixed.
When I looked at it, that's what I thought too, when I looked at the bill, so, yeah. So, yeah, you're more
That's
than
one
welcome.
thing.
All of this information that we have is all open to the public, you just have to fill out a FOIA request.
Mhm.
Thank you. Any others? Going once, going twice? All right.
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Having a motion to adjourn, all in favor? Oh, no, second. See your feet.
Anthony, if you'll hang it just a second.
You know, you got anything? Can you listen? They used to be talking. I don't know if they think they might try to get along with each other. Yes. What is that?
I wasn't sure if you wanted me to let them see. I'll tell you what,
We'll see. You put that on there. You put this, the meeting today. You got the meeting today? Oh, that's the next one. Okay, yeah. So you done? See, now? Okay, you going to do it next month.
I wasn't sure because she told me I gotta get my girl out by Friday.
Yeah, but I'm talking about now you got it on here. We ain't able to. And so one, like you got this. Okay, right there.
I wanted me to get my girl this one, and she was going to give me another.
I just got a report that I got.
Because I had started.
Yeah, you good, you good. Okay, but I'm trying to figure out how to get you. I don't know. We probably need another one minute sheet. That's what you're gonna need to say. We'll finish this out. There's no problem.
I just didn't have community service.
We have a rundown.
Okay.
Well, not really, because so many of them are in the world, so they don't walk. We couldn't use them, they don't lay back down, so we always.
Oh, yeah, I got this cleanup. You clean up this.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Like I helped out in the library.
This was Steve. Now, I'm thinking after this before the lift.
Custodians in the church. And I wiped down tape.
How many now do you have?
Mine is 3.
All right, okay.
Okay, so I'm trying to get March for it.
No, this was for March. I was just late on the March. And if I had just got it,
I got you, dog.
Look at you kind of get it out.
Oh, he got it.
All right, so you all done with this?
Yeah, but really here the next month. Here in really April.
remember,
Hey, that.
How are you?
All right.
That's the template.
Okay, yeah, I got, I can check you up on that one.
And I had put it in April. I had got confused because you told me to get them by Friday. And I had got them by Friday.
Okay.